Okay, everybody should be jumping on right now. Welcome back to Wedding Team Collective. Again, I'm Catherine, and this is the beautiful Danielle from Gray Pearl Bridal Gallery. Welcome, Danielle.
Welcome, welcome.
We are so excited to have you. Gray Pearl is such a beautiful space here in Las Vegas and a spectacular place to get a wedding gown, and we're excited to share with our guests all about what you have to offer.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be able to kind of talk a little bit about this place. It's my baby. So
yeah. So just a little introduction about Gray Pearl and how it got started and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I am actually Las Vegas native, born and raised, fourth generation.
Wow.
And it was sort of this plan of mine to build a space that was supportive of emerging artists and new designers and the customer that really wanted that, but I had no idea what it looked like. And years of working in art consulting and then a ton of years in high-end like luxury fashion, and I actually worked with a lot of brides in that capacity, I realized it should be bridal. And if I'm going to do it, I want it to be in Vegas, where I'm from. It's such a special place. And this is the outcome. Gray Pearl.
Yeah. Which is such a fun and exciting thing to have here in Las Vegas. I feel like we do have different bridal shops, but what I love about Gray Pearl is that it's such a custom experience and you are so knowledgeable about fit, shape, style, all those things, which we'll get into right now. But I love that you have so much knowledge and that it's such a wealth for those who are coming in, your customers.
Thank you.
So here's some information we briefly wanted to go over because dress shopping, I think sometimes is a little overwhelming. People have talked about dress shape and all these different details, but some of the factors to consider when getting your gown or deciding even what style should be yours, I think a lot of times is obviously body shape, but it should also be how you want the look and feel of your wedding to be. What do you personally love? So what do you think are some of the factors that you should choose or look at when choosing your gown?
So I think when we talk about body shape, I think what's really important is what we really want you to know is what do you want to show off with your body? Like, I think anybody can wear any gown that they want. And it's super important to know that from the start and to not, think that you need to be doing something because you're super tall or petite or super curvy or straight or whatever it is. But like, what parts of your body do you love to show off? And what parts of your body are you comfortable showing off? When you talk about personal style, all those things come into play. I like my brides to think about almost what they would normally wear on a special occasion, and then let's like amp it up from there. Like, if you're used to wearing fitted gowns, cool, great. Like, let's talk fitted gowns. If you never have felt comfortable in a fitted gown before, I don't typically
this is the time.
Even if you look bomb, like you're looking amazing, if you don't feel confident and comfortable, I have not done my job. And it's super important that the last thing that you think about on your wedding day is how you look in your wedding dress, because you should already know that it looks awesome.
Absolutely.
Also how you want to feel. Like, do you want to feel sexy? Do you want to feel glamorous? Do you want to feel romantic, ethereal? I think I hear a lot of brides come in saying they have this like boho style in mind. And then when we really talk about it, it's not that they want to look like a hippie covered in fringe, but that they, want to look a little bit more modern. They have like more textures that they want involved. And like, when it comes to your wedding, I think that you can wear whatever kind of dress that you want, unless we're talking about very specifically, I think, black tie, super formal, huge wedding, which I honestly don't think we'll see a lot of anymore. Sky's the limit for you on your dress. Whatever makes you feel like a bride, do it. And then your wedding will fall into place around it.
Which is perfect because I do feel like these days, guest lists are changing, different parts of your wedding are adjusting, but the dress is still the focal point. What you wear that day is such an important part of, I mean, it's in every photo, it's part of everything. Same thing, with floral, it's like all of that is so important for every aspect of your day. And so when you're looking at a dress, after you've kind of decided what fit works, other things to come into play: fabric, embellishments, and then how that looks with a veil, how long you want your train to be, things like that. And what's so awesome is that Danyelle's got so much knowledge on this. I feel like she knows everything about it, and a lot of those details come into play because of for instance, a fabric style. If you're going to be out and in a garden center area, then you could do maybe a little heavier fabric. But if you're going to be out in the desert, you might want to go a little bit lighter just to match the scape. So what are some of those factors that are playing into getting a gown?
So I think when it comes to fabric, a huge thing that I've been seeing a lot lately is like our brides really love the look of a crepe gown, which just means that it's just like plain fabric, clean, statuesque, like this dress that's right behind me right here.
Stunning.
They love that look. And something to be aware of is like, are you feeling like it's going to wrinkle a lot depending on the type of fabric it is? Like, is it silk based? Does it have a lot of structure to it? It's going to show wrinkles from just sitting, which is totally fine. It honestly would never photograph that way.
Right.
Or if you're going to want something that like camouflages or does a lot of smoothing, lace is typically your friend because lace hides all the sins.
Yeah.
And I mean, even things like silk is a lot more breathable than a polyester, but like there are so many great polyester fabrics out there that are recycled and organic and sustainable. And like if we're talking about being eco-friendly, it's definitely like more eco-friendly fabric, which I do get a lot of brides who are now concerned about that. And
yep, which is fair.
Yeah, and we have designers that focus specifically on that. And, accessories, like, yeah, do you want a veil? Are you going to want to worry about a bustle on, during your reception if your train is super long? What are different things that we can do to minimize that? How are you going to wear your hair and makeup? I think when you come in to try on dresses, I don't necessarily want you in full makeup and hair because we don't want to get it all over every dress. But I want you in a little bit, especially if you're used to wearing makeup, because all I can think about is like, if your hair's in a messy bun and you don't like the way your face looks and you put on a beautiful dress, sometimes it doesn't really matter how awesome you look in the dress. All you're going to be staring is like, I just don't feel put together.
Absolutely.
So you kind of have to do yourself a little bit of a favor with that as well.
Totally makes sense. So one thing that's so fabulous that we'll move on to is the different designers that you have in store. I know you have multiple designers and there's always an ever-changing inventory of what the samples are as we move through seasons and years and styles. And but we wanted to focus on a couple different options that are available and some of the more prominent designers that are available in the shop. So briefly, just to kind of a little bit about each of these. So first is Alyssa Kristen.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Alyssa's crepe gowns. And she used to have a really wide collection of gowns, and then all of a sudden she realized she's just really good at a crepe dress. And so now that's all you're going to find from her. And typically her dresses are made out of this great double stretch crepe. So it almost feels like you're wearing like a full bodysuit, like Spanx. Like it just really makes
awesome
every shape look awesome. With Anais Annette, they're like a little bit more modern, have really cool, just like simple shapes that have a lot of architecture to them. And they've done a lot of thinking about what's comfortable, but also what's going to be the most supportive for you. Actually, both Alyssa and Anais Annette make extremely supportive gowns in specific styles for brides that are a little bit bustier, that want to feel like supported, but not wear a corset.
Yeah.
And want to be a little bit more comfortable. Oh, yes. Plus size options are definitely available Right now, I'm a little bit of a smaller shop, so what we brought in for samples, we're working on our actual plus size sample options. I don't want to promise a bunch yet, but almost every single designer will make a gown in a plus size. And we've done everything. I mean, I think we just recently ordered a really killer gown for someone in like a size 28. And I'm so excited about how amazing she's going to look in this dress.
Yeah.
But we definitely have those. And
I wanted to, because I know Maggie just mentioned about a jumpsuit, and there's actually one right here. Jumpsuits are a personal favorite of mine. I've always felt so comfortable in a jumpsuit. I feel like it looks so elegant, yet is a little bit different for the times. So I know that there's lots of different options, and Loulette's one of those.
Yeah. So Loulette does make a bridal jumpsuit. What's great is I don't carry it always in the shop, but she will send it to me if you want to see it. A lot of my designers are really big on being able to send sample options for you to be able to try in store. A couple other designers have recently been playing with a jumpsuit because pants are really hard, y'all, to make. Like, pants are really hard to make flattering. So we don't want to show them if they're not perfect. And with Loulette specifically, like, she is my hippie designer as far as like eco-friendly, using recycled, organic, sustainable fabrics, which she almost always cutting patterns for her gowns and jumpsuits specifically to minimize fabric waste. Everything is made in New York. Each of her brides get a sketch of themselves in their dress when they buy a dress from her. And they also plant a tree for every dress that.
Oh, that's so cool.
So there's a lot of really awesome sort of backstories with a lot of my designers too. With Travell, Travell's also another eco-conscious designer using a lot of really great environmentally friendly fabrics based out of Canada. And they're awesome for almost customizing as much as possible. I have brides that love the fit of one dress, but love the fabric of the other. And we're like, we'll make that dress in that fabric. That's fine. You can do it. Or if you like the top of one, the bottom of another, and the back of one, they will Frankenstein a dress together for you that is basically one of a kind and also really price conscious. I've customized to the nth degree on one of their gowns recently, and I want to say it didn't even come up to $2,500.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
like, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So. And we just got a comment. Someone was loving the idea of a jumpsuit and then a skirt overlay for the ceremony a little bit longer. So obviously, I know I've seen this in the past from your shop, but what are some of the options with that?
Yeah, overskirts are one of my favorite things to offer brides who want a different look and almost want a costume change without doing a full costume change.
Yeah.
I tend to suggest overskirts versus a full dress change because it keeps the changing time to a minimum.
Yes.
Like even for me personally, I wore an overskirt and I literally stepped out of it, handed it to Angelica from Angelica Rose Events, and walked into my reception.
Perfect.
And like it, as far as doing a pantsuit under a skirt, I love that. I think that'd be so fun. Mm-hmm. You're ready to party. You're ready to like dance the night away. It makes it super great for photos because you can get that like dramatic look and then move on to like something that's a little bit more sleek and sexy.
Perfect. So some other designers we have, which with Tara Lauren, I think the style is so different, so unique, something I haven't seen in a while. And then Carol Hannah, a girl who loves floral in every aspect of her life. My heart beats a little more for that gold. So what are some of the wonderful things that they're offering for us?
Tara Lauren is a really great little brand based out of LA. Two sisters who grew up in the bridal industry, so they understand what brides are really looking for as far as something a little bit more modern and different. And textural laces are huge for them. They've been playing a lot with shapes, which I love. This is actually, this little lace number right behind me is right now probably the most popular Tara Loren gown that I have in the store, specifically because the shape is awesome and the lace detailing is great. Everything from a lot of their gowns come with the option to line it in like a blush color versus the ivory.
Cool.
Brides that really want a little bit more dimension in their gowns. Still photographs actually really white. It's still a white dress, but just gives you a little bit more look of the lace. Carol Hanna, I'm super excited about. I've been a huge fan of Carol's for a long time. She was one of the original Project Runway participants.
Yes, I remember. Love
her. Really big on couture, cuts, sculptural pieces, loves a good floral. Carol Hanna is definitely a more higher end, priced line, which is why we were really excited to be able to also offer Dear Heart, which is her diffusion line.
Perfect.
Still in the vein of Carol Hanna in really great fabrics and couture shapes and cuts, but at a much more cost-effective, attainable price point for a Carol Hanna gown. Still made in New York, still made with like really awesome fabrics. Just maybe not quite so intense on like cuts and sculptural identity.
Yeah. That's awesome. Which I wanted to mention as we're talking about different gowns and things, you are actually offering a spectacular special option for our attendees. So those that are attending and watching today, if you book an appointment and purchase your gown within a month of this show, you're offering 10% off, which is huge and such a wonderful option for them. Such a benefit because as we all know, things are so different in 2020 and your budget is ever changing. So to have that as an option when we know you're going to fall in love with the gown when you walk in, that's really spectacular. So we really appreciate that offer from you for our guests.
Someone had asked about options for older brides.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do get quite a bit of older brides, either second weddings or they just, took a little bit longer to find the love of their life. Yeah. And we tend to carry like a ton of like sophisticated options that a lot of my older brides love.
Yeah. Not everything is a super deep V. Not everything is, cut out. There's so many options.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I had probably back in February, my oldest bride was 74.
Awesome.
She looked awesome. Like, it was great. It was so great.
So cool.
Price ranges we'll definitely talk about, I think, a little bit later. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a couple of things to go over. Your shop is by appointment only, which personally I love because it's giving full attention to those that are coming in. And one of the parts of being appointment only is the fact that we are in a weird time of COVID. So although there's been a lot of things that your shop has already done, obviously for sanitation, other things, what are some of the things that the shop has adjusted for this time?
So we still are required to have everyone in masks, which is just state mandate. And because we're a smaller shop, we have like a occupancy allowance. And so with brides, we're allowing a maximum of 2 other guests to come with them. Adults, older teens, kind of blurs the line a little bit. Come on, basically, we don't suggest bringing, little kids or toddlers as like your one other person, just because sometimes they get really bored. They want to like run around and do stuff and just, it's not helpful for you. And yeah, we're not doing walk-ins anymore. So if you have questions, you can reach out through our website. You can call us. That is the best way for you to kind of get an idea prior. And you can book your appointment right online. So you can
That's awesome.
go to our website, see what we have available, and snag a slot and book it. You don't even have to call me if you don't want to.
And what's great is the time expectation. So it's expected in your first time, it's going to be about an hour and a half, about 90 minutes. So because you're trying on different gowns, talking. And then when the follow-up comes in for your final choice making, other details, other questions, it's usually about an hour for that timing.
I would say most brides will find and purchase their dress in their first appointment.
Awesome.
However, if you feel like you need to sleep on it, have a think, you've got a couple favorites and you just can't make that decision, we'll set aside an hour for you for a follow-up to be able to come back, try them on if you want, or just place your order. If you already know what you want and we just need to take your measurements and place an order, we're maybe here for 30 minutes. So
perfect.
Super quick and easy. Yeah.
Makes it nice and easy. So we had discussed special sizes earlier, plus size and petite. And I know you mentioned in store for the samples, you guys usually have between a size 6 and 10 in ready to wear sizing. But what's so wonderful is that you guys can work with them. So like you had mentioned the jumpsuit, or if sizing is important to you, depending on what you need, mention it, before you're making that appointment, because I know you guys can make some accommodations.
Definitely. Absolutely. I always like to tell brides, when bridal dress shopping, almost everyone that walks in the door is trying on a gown that's not their size. Mm-hmm. So it's up to us to be able to really show you what it's going to look like when we order a gown in your size, make you feel super comfortable and easy. If you're shorter, sometimes we'll talk to you about going and ordering a petite option, because bridal gowns really are long. They're cut for people who are at least like 5'8", 5'9". Because you can always make a dress shorter, and we can order dresses longer for those super tall, 6 foot tall, lovely brides.
Yeah.
Right? But really knowing where things need to hit, what you need for your waist, waist lengths, all that kind of stuff we talk about, and make sure that we set you up for the perfect sizing. Yeah.
Awesome. So for pricing, so we're getting a little closer to the end, so I don't want to run out of time to answer some questions, but for pricing, currently, obviously, you're between, like you said, $1,800, $5,000. On average, it's that $2,500 to $3,300. The 10% makes a huge difference when coming in there. But then other costs that I think are always really important to think about is veil, accessories, and alteration. So if your budget really is a certain amount, you want to make sure that you're sticking to that, including those other items.
Yeah, I would say, with pricing for gowns, everything is made to order. We do have a few gowns that are older samples that we just can't reorder anymore. They can buy off of the rack. But yes, and there is lead times for that. Most of the time you'll want, if you tell my brides to come in, I want them to start shopping like 8-9 months in advance. Most gowns, without a rush, take between 4 and 6 months. Girl, if you need a gown for a wedding in 2 months, we can do that for you. It's pretty easy to be able
awesome. I know designers are working these days to help make sure everybody is taken care of. So one question we always, we had gotten in advance, and I know you get a lot, is do you offer in-house alterations?
So I don't. But I do make really awesome recommendations.
Perfect.
There's a couple reasons for that. One, I think that you should like the person that's doing your alterations, and you should feel like you have a choice. Sometimes, you don't really vibe with like an in-house seamstress, and I've heard brides just feel like they've just been stuck with that particular person, which is, great for some, not for others. I also think it allows you to do some price shopping, because all of the different recommendations that we make, they all have their different prices and what they charge for alterations. And I think that it makes it more convenient, because I do get a lot of brides that, live on the other side of town and don't necessarily want to come all the way over here, or they don't even live in Vegas. They live somewhere else and they should really be getting their alterations done like, at home where they live.
True. So, and the last other question we had was, can you buy off the rack? I do know in store you do have some samples that are available to purchase off the rack of styles that are no longer being produced by the designers. But for more information on that, I would reach out directly to Danyelle. So that would be at Gray Pearl Bridal. And we really are so grateful to have you. We appreciate, and don't forget that special offer within the month of this airing. You'll get 10% off if you book your appointment and purchase your dress in that time frame. So we really appreciate it. If there's any questions we missed, we'll make sure to post those on the website, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, Danyelle. We're so happy to have had you.
Nice to see you, Catherine.
Have a good one.
Bye.